Hey everybody, welcome back. I am in the process of documenting all of my watercolor sets, including the ones I've made and the ones I've purchased. So this is one that I haven't even opened yet, but I did buy this last year, maybe even the year before for Christmas for myself. I haven't swatched them out or anything. I just wanted to have this Daniel Smith set. Sometimes they put out sets and they're limited edition, but this is still on the market. I looked just now. They are in stock on Jerry's Artarama and Jackson's. Jerry's Artarama is a little cheaper. They will be back in stock at Blick March 29th, but I couldn't find them on Amazon. But that could just be because they're waiting stock. I'm sure they're on Amazon. I just couldn't find it. If I do find it, I'll link it below. I haven't even opened these yet. I don't even know what the pan looks like, what the metal tin looks like. I'm kind of like a watercolor hoarder. I have collections. I love my collections. So this is a 24 pan set and it comes with an extra bonus metal tin with 24 empty pans. So let's look at that first. Like I said, I haven't even opened these. It's a nice black matte box with the Daniel Smith logo. Daniel Smith Artist Materials, Seattle, Washington. Looks to be a nice box. It's not sharp. They're rolled on the edges. 24 pans, empty, ready for you to fill it with your other Daniel Smith paints. So we'll put that back in the box. Here is the palette with all the colors in it. 24 colors. Here's a color swatch here, and here's the information on the colors that are in the box on the back of the box. So we'll just go through that. Let me mark this painter's color diary with the colors and we'll be back in a minute. I wanted to show you how this comes. It comes with a little plastic sheet with the colors and in their order. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to make a swatch for your paint palette. You can just keep it in there. So I do like that. And here are the colors. Aren't they beautiful? They are in the order that they are listed here. So I'm just going to keep that order. I'll mark my painter's color diary and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I've got all these. We're not individually wrapped. These are hand poured. I was doing some comparisons to another set that I don't have, which is the Ultimate Mixing Set of Daniel Smith. We'll just start in and I'll let you know what's in that Ultimate Mixing Set compared to this. I'm going to start off with Buff Titanium and I'm going to zoom in so you can see. So here's Buff Titanium, and it is PW6:1. It's kind of like an unbleached white titanium, and I'm gonna get that to flow. And it flows well. And the next one is Hansa Yellow Light. Now in the Ultimate Mixing Set, which I do not have, they do not have Hansa Yellow Light. They have Hansa Yellow Medium. This set has Hansa Yellow Light and Hansa Yellow Deep. And this has quinacridone Gold. This is a really pretty yellow that can go to a sort of an orangey yellow. When brought out, it can go to a cool yellow. I do love this color. And then we have Hansa Yellow Deep, which if you add a little bit of red to a Hansa Yellow Light or a Hansa Yellow Medium, you can get a Hansa Yellow Deep. I mean, just a teeny tiny bit. So that's the purpose of that Ultimate Mixing Set, is to be able to mix every single color. Okay, and the next one we have is Pyrrole Scarlet. We just compared these on our reds, and it's one that I wasn't going to use because I liked Quin Coral better. But, you know, maybe if I add a little bit of quinacridone rose to this, I might be able to get that Quin Coral. Okay, and the next one is Permanent Alizarin Crimson. I had alizarin crimson, and this is permanent alizarin crimson. I think the color on it's a little better. And these are all in the Ultimate Mixing Set. Pyro Red, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, Quinacridone Rose. I think Quinacridone Rose is the perfect red. If you were going to have any red, that's the one I would get. Is Quinacridone Rose. So we're going to go to Ultramarine Blue. I've got French Ultramarine, but this is just Ultramarine, which it's nice. I think French Ultramarine's just a little bit, it's got a little bit more red cast to it, maybe a little bit more finer milled. This is a nice color though. I'm doing the same thing I did before, as I'm putting too much water down. My colors are going to back run if I'm not careful. Now the next one we have is Cerulean Blue. They got some good colors in here. You know, this would have been perfectly fine to use as a floral palette, but you know, I have a problem with watercolors. I want them all, but I want colors that I'm going to be using as well too. Oh, that Cerulean Blue. You see right there where it's back, I touched a little bit into that ultramarine and it's really flowing. The next one is Phthalo Blue Green Shade. This is really high tinting, strong color, really pretty blue, good mixing color. And the next one, now this next one is not in the Ultimate Mixing Set, and it's Cobalt Turquoise, and it's PB36, same as Chromium or Cerulean Blue's PB36, so is Cobalt Turquoise. And I think that they do something during the cooking process that causes the colors to change as far as the same pigment number being used. I'm going to put a little bit more on there with a little bit more water because I think that this one granulates. I'm using the Painter's Color Diary watercolor. It's 100% cotton. It just swatches out. I'm using my Princeton Neptune number 8 to swatch with. This next one is Phthalo Green Blue Shade. Oh, nice. This is also on the Ultimate Mixing. I like that Cobalt Turquoise. It's really starting to granulate. I thought the Ultramarine Blue would have more granulation, but that Cobalt Turquoise is nice. Very nice. Okay, next one is Sap Green. It is not on the Ultimate Mixing palette. They really don't have any other greens except that Phthalo Green Blue shade. And I think it's because you can add and make your own sap green. That's a nice sap green. I like Daniel Smith's sap green. It's PO48, PG7, and PY150. I've seen a couple of YouTubes where they say PO48 was they was running out in Europe. I don't think that's the case with Daniel Smith, but I haven't looked on their website or anything. Okay, the next one is Perylene Green. Now this shade is a black pigment, PBK31. It is a black pigment. It is very, very, very dark green, but I love it. I love this palette they've put together. It's a foresty green. Okay, and the next one is Undersea Green. This is PB29, PO48 again, and PY150. Gosh, I hope I got that in there. I don't know if I did or not. But anyway, here they are. I might have made a mistake. Sap Green, PO48, PG7, PY150, Perylene Green, PBK31. It's really, really dark. And if I didn't, I'll swatch them again down here just so you can see that. Here is Undersea Green. It is a deep foresty green. I love it too. I love it too. You could mix your own with PB29, which is ultramarine, PO48 if you have Quin Gold. So Undersea Green is ultramarine blue with quinacridone gold. Really pretty. Okay, Raw Sienna Light. I love Raw Sienna. It's got a lot of movement. Let's get some more on there so you can see how it moves. Oh, that's not really showing it much, but it does when you drop it into other colors. Next one is Yellow Ochre. Very similar color, very similar. Raw Sienna's PY42 and yellow ochre is PY43. And this next one is called Geothite, and it's brown ochre. It's really pretty. Person that I trust most on color is Jane Blundell. Go look her up, Jane Blundell, on YouTube, because, you know, she has all of this color theory down, and she's even part of putting this palette together and the Ultimate Mixing palette. Here is Indian Red. Love that. Nice earth red. Moves well. I'll do some mixing after this to see. And the next one's Quinacridone Burnt Orange. This is interesting. PO48. This is the one that I guess is going out of stock in Europe. So they're discontinuing some colors of this. But that's not the case in Daniel Smith. I will link to this palette, and I will also link to this color, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, because don't forget, you got a whole nother palette. The next one is Burnt Umber, and there I did that again. Quinacridone Burnt Orange, and I put Burnt Umber, and actually that's supposed to be Burnt Sienna. So Burnt Sienna, and then Burnt Umber. Okay, this is Burnt Umber. That's more how I think a burnt umber should be. Nice and cool and chocolatey. And then I'm going to go ahead and skip over to Jane's Gray, and that can be made with ultramarine and burnt sienna. Those are the two pigments in there. It's excellent shadow color. And then we skipped one, raw umber, which I could see as being a useful color as well. Okay, so here's raw umber. So I got them out of order. I got these mixed up, but there are your colors. You know, I think this is an all-inclusive palette. So let me zoom out. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that Pyrrole Scarlet, and I'm going to add some Quin Rose to that, and I'm going to mix that right here in these pans. So I'm going to take some Pyrrole Scarlet. If you take a magic eraser to your tin, it won't beat up. I'm going to have to do that. And then I'm going to take some of this Quinacridone Rose, and I'm going to mix that. And I'm going to see if I can't make a Quin Scarlet or Quinacridone Coral. Okay, that was Pyrrole Scarlet and Quinacridone Rose. And I mixed that, and I'm going to just wait till that dries down, and then I'm going to compare it to the other one, because I can see where I may not need Quinacridone Coral. If I have those two, that could be quite versatile. Okay, so we'll let these dry, and we'll come back and close out the video. Here we have the 24 pan set of Daniel Smith. I think everything that's in here is in the Ultimate Mixing set. So you could pare down these colors and get the Ultimate Mixing set. It is running about 80, and this one runs about 120. So it's out of stock on Blick, but like I said, it'll be there the end of the month. On Amazon, I couldn't find this, but I could on Jerry's and Jackson. Jackson's, it was about 140. You do get this extra tin. I think that this is a good all-around mixing set. I think you could get whatever color you wanted. I tried to make that Quin Coral that I love so much on my reds. I think I did a pretty good job. So I didn't do a mass tone here. I just did it all the way across. I maybe could add a little bit more Quinacridone Rose to that, and it would be pretty good match. I'm glad to know that. And see, I learned something today. I like the diversity of this. I like all the greens and all the mixing possibilities. I think there's just so many mixing possibilities. I'm going to close out this video and watch this next one.